going to do lesson 2 right now. So that way those of you who are doing lesson 2 have enough time to work on your lesson.
Last call for student handbook agreement forms.
All right, so before we get started on lesson 2, what was the advice that Mr. Sears and I gave you for the materials for lesson 1? What did we say about the materials? When should you pass out the materials? Why, JB, is it so important to pass them out after the instructions?
The kids aren't fidgeting with it.
Right, so the kids aren't fidgeting with it, they're not trying to play with the materials, and are now, when should I pick up the materials? After the activity's done, because what happens if you don't pick them up after the activity's done?
They'll be distracted.
They're going to be like, woo, magnets. So yes, they're going to play with everything, and then you're going to do stuff. So that is a big thing. Make sure you only pass out the materials after the instructions, after the safety, and pick them up right when they're done. So with lesson 2, you're going to break my own rule, because I want you to look at the desks. What do you see?
Materials.
What do we have?
There we have all the materials. Everything we will be using in lesson 2 is in that plastic baggie. So the first thing I want you to do is look at the baggie, kind of flip it around, check it out, see what's inside. Ooh, what's in there? So this is all of the materials that you will need for lesson 2. All right, so why would I give you all of the materials at the very beginning of class before I have told you any directions? Before I have given you any instructions or any safety? Why would I give you every single piece of material that you will need for the entire class? I trust you. So trusting. So let's go with the popsicle sticks on this one. All right, we're going to go with Milo. Milo, why would I give you all of the materials at the very beginning? What might be a reason?
Because I guess if they were to be playing with them, so one of you teaches me out, or maybe not, and then I'll clip out the real things too.
Ah, notice, where did I put all your materials? I put them inside the Ziploc bag. So it's very easy for me to see if somebody has taken out something that they shouldn't. I can be like, okay, Mark, put that back if they've taken it out of their Ziploc bag. So that's one reason I have the Ziploc bag, to make sure that I can keep an eye on the materials and they're all contained. But why would I want to even give you all the materials in the first place? Let's go with Jessica. Jessica, what might be another reason?
I guess, yeah, like, it wouldn't be as accessible to the students, so it's just all on the table.
Right, it's all over the table. They can just play with everything. Now it's all in the bag. That's good. Okay, so everyone take a second, talk with your group. Why? Look at what's in the bag. Why might I be giving you all the materials back? Why might I be giving you all the materials back?
One or two times consuming the pass everything out.
Why might I be giving you all the materials
That's a lot of work. What if you want to do lesson 2 instead of science lesson 2? Even though it's
All right, eyes on me.
I don't want to do that.
Okay, so I want to talk about a couple things there. Okay, first of all, let's think if anybody got an answer for why I might want to have all the materials out. We're going to go with Angela. Angela, what might be your reason?
My group came up with the fact that maybe it's a little time consuming to pass each of the objects out one by one to each group.
Excellent. So you're going to notice when you teach your lesson 1, it takes a minute to pass out the magnets. It takes a minute to pass out the bag. Are those minutes going to add up? You're going to wish you had that minute at the end of the lesson. So it takes a long time to pass out materials. So if you can provide them all at the beginning in a bag like this, where they're all contained, then I save myself the time of having to pass it out, pick it up, pass it out, pick it up. This is especially good if you have materials that they're going to constantly be using. So we're going to be going back and forth through a lot of these materials. So that's one thing. It's going to save me time. Diana said something cool in her group. What was your reason as well? Right. It's a little bit of a game, a little bit of a tease. Ooh, what's in the bag? What are we going to use this for? So that could also be another reason. But the main reason is to save you time of having to pick up and pass out materials. Now, let's talk teacher time. A little bit about some of the strategies I used right there. So, I first called on 2 people for their answers. Did they give me the answers that I wanted? First called on, I think it was Milia and called on somebody else. Oh, Jessica. And they were talking about why it was in the bag. Were those good answers?
Yes.
But were they the answers that I wanted?
No.
What was the answer that I wanted? Time. So, did I say they were wrong?
No.
Did I give them the answer?
No.
What did I do instead?
Yes, it's to
Well, first I called on a second person, then what did I do, JB?
Yes, it's to discuss it.
And then I told you to discuss it in your group. So this is going to happen at some point in one of your 3 lessons. You're going to call on the students. They may not give you the answer that you want, and they may even give you an answer that's flat out wrong. So what should we do in that case? What should we do if we aren't getting the answer we want from the students? Tell them to discuss. Why is telling them to discuss going to be better than telling them they're wrong? Why would we not want to tell them they're wrong? Right, we're gonna get a little bit discouraged. And why, Emma, do I not want to give them the answer? I could just give you the answer. Why, Emma, would I not want to just give away the answer?
They're not learning.
Okay, they're not learning. And did you want to add to that, Daniela?
They won't have time to figure it out on their own.
They don't have time to figure it out on their own. They're not going to learn. You're just giving them the answer. Carlos, did you want to add to that?
Also, like to get them involved in the lesson.
Get them involved, exactly. So one of the strategies that you can use, this is good for lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, is, first thing I did was what? I asked a question. I didn't get the answer I wanted. So what did I do then?
Ask again.
I asked it again to a different person. You can do that. You can also change the question. How can I change the question? What can I do to change the question?
Reword it.
I can reword it. I can rephrase it. I can make it an easier question. Do they have to answer the question you asked the first time? They just have to answer a question. It can be a much easier question. I'll show you examples of easier questions in a little bit. And then number 3. All right. I rephrased the question. I repeated the question. I called on someone else. It's not working. They are not giving me the right answer. Do I give up?
No.
It's over. It's done. No, I do not give up. We never give up. We are UTeach. We never give up. What did I do instead? I went to the groups. And why is going to the groups such an effective strategy? Talk in your groups about why going to the groups is such an effective strategy. It will take 30 seconds. Why is that a good thing? Why do you want to go? Okay, you got a chance to talk to each other.
Because ideas.
What do you think?
Just build it.
They can help each other out. Like maybe they're sort of stuck, they're not quite sure.
Yeah.
So if I call on this group right now, you can feel confident, you can be ready to answer. Alright, we're gonna go to the popsicle sticks. 6 feet. Ariana. Why would I want to go to the groups? Why is that my Hail Mary?
So they can help each other out and share their ideas.
They can help each other out and share their ideas. Does anyone else want to add to that? Another reason why I want to go to groups.
For the firm working, reaffirm their ideas. Some might think that they're wrong, and it might make them more sure of what they're going to say.
Absolutely. It's scary answering in front of the class. You're probably scared answering in front of the class. You don't want to look stupid. You don't want to get it wrong. So if you go around to the groups and they can discuss with their partners, discuss with their classmates, discuss with the teacher, it builds up their confidence and they're more likely to answer. So they get to work with each other. They build up that confidence. And how is it good for you as the teacher? What does it give you as the teacher? JB, what you got?
Gives you an opportunity to walk around and hear the right answer and then ask that student.
Okay, excellent. So you can actually figure out who has the right answer. How else is it going to be valuable to you as the teacher? Let's go to this table over here, somebody from this group. What else will it provide you as the teacher that's going to be valuable? So it allows you to hear the right answer. What else are you doing as you're talking to the groups? Are you just watching them? What are we doing? You're listening, and are you just listening? What else are you going to do? You're going to ask more questions. You're going to help them get there. And that's less intimidating in the groups. Again, they didn't answer ahead of time, so what did I do? I repeated, I rephrased, and I moved closer. That's called proximity. It's hard to answer from across the room. It's much easier if I'm right here. So now Brianna doesn't have to shout his ideas across the room. Now he just has to tell me in this nice, safe space. So that's another thing you can do. Move closer. Engage one-on-one with students. And as a teacher, it also allows you to think, man, they are not getting this. What do I do? And so it gives you a little bit of time to regroup and to discuss with your partner and to think what's going to be your next strategy. What are you going to do next? So those are all good reasons to go back to the groups. So if you ever see Mrs. Goldberg doing this feverishly during your lesson, what does this mean? Attack the students. No, do not do that. What does this mean? Tell them to discuss in their groups. So if you ever see me in the back doing this, that means discuss the groups, not attack the students. Finally, one last strategy that I want to go over. This is a classroom management strategy. I purposely told Carlos to keep talking at the end. So that's why he was continuously talking. But could he stay talking?
Nope.
What did I do, Carlos?
Stood right here.
I stood right here. What did I do?
Stood there quietly and
I stood there.
staring at people.
Just did this.
Trying to get your attention.
Struggling right now.
And there may be others of you today that get asked to do certain things, so we can purposely point them out and exaggerate them.
Yeah.
And they're things that we've seen elementary kids do.
Yeah, Carlos is a good kid. He didn't want to do it. He didn't do it. Okay. So go to your classroom management strategies. Which strategy was that? What did I just do there? That was called proximity. Did I have to say anything? You have a student who's talking, the student's acting up, the student's not doing what they're supposed to do. You just stand next to them and you give them the patented teacher death glare. This is your homework over the weekend. You must practice your teacher death glare. Do not practice it on loved ones. Practice it in the mirror. Practice it on stuffed animals. And you must be able to look and be like, no. If you are a parent, you probably already have your teacher death glare back. So everyone take a second, look at your partner, and give them your best teacher death glare. Oh, Marcos. That's good. That's good. Withering.
I have a hard time using my bar. She does something bad. I look at her like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we say. All right, eyes up here. So why do we want to use a non-verbal? Why don't I just say, Carlos, be quiet? Why would I prefer to just look at him and make him wither?
So even if you're just small, so he's quiet and we're gonna open him and it's like it's bad.
Everyone's like, you're the one who's talking. So, exactly. You will find that 90% of your your classroom management strategy should be nonverbal. Because when they're nonverbal, you're not putting the kid on the spot. It allows them to not feel threatened or feel like they have to respond back, which is one of the biggest issues that leads to classroom management. So we'll talk a little bit more about classroom management as we go through. We'll talk a little bit more about why you would want to do that, not want to do certain things. But that one is an example of proximity. Very, very effective strategy. And it was also an example of one more. Scavenger hunt. Find it. The last one. One more.
Active monitoring.
Definitely active monitoring. I'm walking around the room. I'm looking at no draft necks. Or this. I'm actually looking. There's another one on there. Which one? Grouping. Not quite grouping. We'll talk about that one in a bit. Which one? Oh, praise. Praise would be an example of like, I really like how this group is ready to learn. That would be praise. Which one is it?
We use
Wait time. I said eyes on me.
eye contact.
I did eye contact too. Yeah, that's the death stare. So that was an example of eye contact, that was an example of proximity, and that was an example of wait time. So we'll talk more a little bit about some of those in just a bit, but I do actually want to show you lesson 2, so let's get on to lesson 2. Okay, so first thing you're going to do, I am not going to model for you the engage, you will come up with your own engage. Be creative, have fun. We're starting with the explore. First thing I want you to do is I would like you to grab out your bag of cards. So in your Ziploc baggie, you may open it, and grab out your bag of cards and only your bag of cards.
Only the cards. The rules. No drafting.
Okay, so here's going to be some modifications for 3rd and 4th grade. This is a lesson on decimals. However, 3rd grade will not actually learn about decimals. It's not one of their teams. So we will talk about how you can still do a decimal lesson without using the word decimal, like a magic trick. But I will show you some modifications for 3rd grade and for 4th grade as we go through. So who here is teaching 3rd grade? Okay, make sure you pay attention to 3rd grade modifications. Who here is teaching 4th grade? Make sure you pay attention to 4th grade modifications. 4th grade, they do use decimals, so be comfortable with that term, so that will be fine. Okay, so for 4th grade, I would call these decimal cards. For 3rd grade, I would call these cards. There you go. So everybody has a stack of cards. Your first job for me today is I would like you to sort the cards in any way that makes sense to you and your partner. So Angie, what do I need to do? However you like. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have 1 minute. You and your partner, please take out all the cards and sort them in any way that you like. Any way that makes sense to you.
That's true.
Goldberg, I don't understand the directions.
All right, so questions about the directions. All right, so Araceli, what's the first thing we're gonna do?
We're going to get the decimal cards out of the bag.
Okay, we're gonna get the decimal cards out of the back. And then Kimberly, what are we gonna do with the decimal cards? Sort them in any way you like. So, think about the cards. How do they look? What's similar? What's different? What would make sense? Which one should be together? Which one should be separate from each other? Okay. So, how do we sort them over here? Color, we like color.
We wanted to This is one not bad.
This will be these 8. And then how do we do it up here?
How do you think there's
Okay, so you did it by color, and then you did it by like.
Definitely how I did like the numbers.
Okay.
So how
Probably
do
just
we
go
sort
1
them?
through 20.
Combining them by numbers.
So with the cards, do not worry about the backs. The backs are just to make sure that there are 18 cards when you start, and there will be 18 cards when we pick them up. So don't worry about the backs. Worry about the color back. Okay, so how do we sort them? With the colors. So you have all your
I'm
yellow.
not going to not
How
pass
about
the
up
third
here?
grade.
Now within the colors, do we have any patterns?
Calculus this semester, I'm gonna cry. You took my Everything right now. How is it right
Oh,
now?
you have it shaded? So like here, have it shaded. And then
Okay. Is it a wood? Does he have a long ponytail?
So how did we sort the cards over here? Color? How'd you know who was least and who was greatest? The amount of color variance? So here, this would be the least, and then this one would be the greatest. And Ray, did you do a similar?
I'm doing it to what fills them. So like,
Oh, so you're kind of like putting them
so
together?
yeah, so that was missing one pink bar, so and color, I guess.
Very cool. Do they all work though, or are there some that are not? You're still trying to figure it out. See if you can match them all.
Oh, okay. All the ones.
Hey, eyes on me. So now what we're going to do. Okay, that was an eyes on me, and I immediately started talking. Was that effective? No. So after you say eyes on me, what do you have to do? Yeah. Why do I have to wait? I don't want to wait. Why do I have to wait?
So everyone can hear you.
So everyone can hear me? Very good. So they can hear you. You're waiting on a couple of people. You'll find this when you go out and teach next week. If you just say, eyes on me, and immediately start talking, what's going to happen with the class? They're still going to be talking. Are they paying attention to you? So this is the hardest thing you'll ever have to do as a teacher is conflict time. It's so hard. But you got to stand in front of a class of little kids looking at you, and you have to wait for their attention. And it will feel like forever. Like, oh my God, they're never going to shut up. I'm going to be standing here for the rest of my life with my arm in the air looking like an idiot. But you must do it. And in your head, you must count Mississippi. Let's go 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. It's not a long time. 3 Mississippi. It's a long time when you're standing up here with your arm in the air looking stupid. So yes, it feels like a long time. In reality, it's not. It's 3 seconds, but it feels like forever. Let's do it. And then if they're still talking after 3 Mississippis, what do you need to do?
Or try a different one?
You might want to try a different one. You might want to try the same one. You can still do eyes on me. You can, Mark's doing the little clap. You can do the clap. But after you do whatever attention getter you're going to do, what do you have to do?
Wait.
You gotta wait 3 Mississippis for their attention. Because if you don't, it's like there was no point in doing it. And they will shut up. They will, I promise you. It feels like they won't, but they will shut up. They will guilt each other into it. They'll be like, shut up, she's trying to get her attention. So they will guilt each other into it. They will help you out, but you have to give them, I'm not moving on until I have your attention.
Now, it seems really obvious, right, that clearly you need to wait for their attention before moving on. But in full disclosure, every semester in Step 1, that is probably the most common comment that we write on the feedback form. Wait for everyone's attention before moving on. Seems so simple and obvious now, but when you're up there in front of them and you're thinking about what you're going to do next and you're nervous, it's really easy to not wait. So you really have to kind of exaggerate like the counting in your head. And then I just heard someone say when she asked, so what do you do if you still don't have everyone's attention and they're still talking? And then you said you could do another attention getter, but I heard someone say you call them out. But so what we don't want to do is be like, we're still waiting for you, JB. What can you say instead of calling the student by their name and making them kind of embarrassed?
Well, you can say, I like the way this group is paying attention, or
Very
that
nice.
takes it away from.
Which one was that? Which one was that on your sheet?
Praise.
That was praise. You can use the praise. Good. What was some of the others that I used that were effective? Proximity. So if I'm still waiting on JB, I don't need to tell JB. I just need to walk here. Or if JB's like way over there and I want to be in the front of the group, do I technically have to walk over there? Who could walk over there? Oh my goodness, your partner now has a job. He gets to stand by that kid. You know who that kid is. Once you observe, you'll know who that kid is. So your partner can stand by that kid and make sure that that kid get a little teach death glare until he behaves or she behaves. There we go. So use your partner. Let your partner do that. Okay. All right. So let's talk about cards. Let's go through some different ways that we sorted them. I'm going to start off with, I don't think she's here. I'm going to start off with Monique. How did your group sort the cards?
We sort of just like colors and like how much each. Yeah.
Okay, so we sorted by colors and we sorted by how much was shaded. Who here also sorted by how much was shaded? If anyone else sorted by how much was shaded? So which one would come first? The top one? Why? It has the least shaded, and then this will become later because it has more shaded. Did anyone do it the other way? Did most to least? Oh, we had one group that went the other way, most to least. Did anyone else sort them by color? A lot of groups did it by color, okay. And then we have Ray. Ray, tell us your way. Your way was kind of cool. What did you do?
So I noticed that like they could fill each other up, so I sorted them by ones out. So this is missing a certain amount, and this has a certain amount. So I grouped them like that. And like this one's missing 3 rows, so I grouped them in 3 rows. But there's a lot of extra.
That all works. So like these two could work together, but
Yeah.
maybe not all the others. That was really cool. I liked that one. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to talk about the colors and what the colors mean and represent. So everyone take out a pink card. Look at a pink card. Let's talk about our little pink card over here. Okay, so we'll take a second, look at the pink card. I'm going to call on somebody, and that person's going to tell me, what do they think the pink card represents? So, Gabriel, what do you think that pink card represents? Ones? Ones, okay. Why do you think it represents ones, Gabriel?
Because there's 10 of them.
Oh, there's 10 of what? There are 10 of what?
There's 10 little boxes.
There's 10 boxes. Let's count together. 1, 2,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, so the pink have 10 boxes, but Gabriel's saying that how many of the boxes are actually filled in?
1.
Only one of the boxes is filled in. So he said this was called ones, but does anyone think it might be called something else?
Oh, wait.
Let's go, Marco, what do you think it might be called?
1 out of 10.
1 out of 10. What do we think? Do we like 1 out of 10?
10.
Or Ray said something else. What did you say?
10.
Ray said 10. So here's the thing. It's both. Right. What's 3rd grade? What's 4th grade? So in 3rd grade, they do out of. They do basically fractions. So for 3rd grade, you could say it is 1 out of 10. Or another way that you might see that, it is 1 out of 10 units. But in 4th grade, they have seen decimals. So what do they call it in 4th grade? Tenths. And again, did Gabriel give me the answer that I wanted? No, but did I say, Gabriel, you're wrong? No, I did not. What did I do instead? I asked more questions. I asked him why he thought that. Always start with why did you think that? Why do you want to ask the student first why they got that answer? Why is that important? Why do I as the teacher need to know why Gabriel called it once? Why is that important for me as the teacher? Right, was Gabriel on the right track? He just said the wrong word. Now, this is going to be very important because in your magnet lesson, there's going to be a lot of misconceptions. You might get a student who has a wrong answer, and you don't want to jump to conclusions about where that wrong answer came from. So I'm going to give you an example. Last semester, I had a student who, I asked the student, is the aluminum foil, because he wanted to figure out if it was a metal or not, asked him, is the aluminum foil more like the bottle cap, or is it more like the washer? Which one do you think it's closer to? Which one does it have more in common with? And the washer is the right answer, right? Because they're both metals. And he said the bottle cap. Is he right? Who here thinks an aluminum ball looks like a bottle cap? No, but when I asked him, well, why did you say the bottle cap? He said because it feels more like the bottle cap. They're both smooth, like the same texture on the side. They both have that same rigid texture on the side. So in his mind, is he right? Yes. That is an honest observation. And if I say, no, you're wrong, without figuring out where he's coming from, he's going to be like, but no, they do feel more similar. So never assume why a student has the wrong answer. Always ask them why. Always figure out where that wrong answer comes from, because that can be very informative in helping them to get to the right answer. Okay, so these ones, if you are in third grade, you will refer to them as out of 10 units. If you are in fourth grade, you will refer to them as tens. Now, I've got a question for you. Are these tens or are these tenths? Are these tens or are these tenths? Talk in your group. Are they tens or are they tenths? What do we think? Tens or tenths?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So it's not the whole card? So if I had the whole card, how many tens are there? To be what? This whole card would be 10, okay? But if it's 10, mark how many cards do you need? If this is 1, how many 10 whole cards? Do I have 10 whole cards? I do not have 10 whole cards. One card will have to fill in on that whole card, Andy. One attendance or at least one of the 10.
I was looking for a car to get that area.
I'm sorry? All right, guys, on me. I really like how you see the group in the back, ready to go. Brianna, did you have a question? Oh, you're doing the hand up as well. Yes. Yeah, always go over your attention getter with the students so they know what's expected. Okay, so let's see what we came up with. I'm going to go with Emma. Emma, do you think that this is tens or tenths? Which one?
I was confused.
You were confused, and you know why you were confused? Because this is a hard question. It may not seem like a hard question. You'll be like, I'm in calculus, this isn't hard. But if you're a third or fourth grader, or a third grader who's never even seen this, so you wouldn't actually mention that. This is just a fourth grade question. But if you're a fourth grader, you just started decimals. So this is actually a very hard question. Is it 10 or is it tenths? And they kind of sound the same. So, did I ask that question to the class? Who did I ask that question to? The groups. Whenever you have a really hard question, why is it important to ask the groups?
So they help each other.
They can discuss. What else? They can help each other. And if you don't ask the groups, then who's going to answer that question? That kid. Who's seen that? You've already been out to the classroom. Who has that kid? Maybe you were that kid. Brianna was that kid. He still is that kid. He's that kid who always like, I know it. So anyways, if I just ask the class, that kid is going to answer the question, and that deprives everyone else of getting the chance to think about it. And also, people like Emma are going to be like, it's kind of hard. hard, I don't know. And then she's gonna feel bad because that kid already answered the question and he made it seem so easy. But it's not an easy question. It's a hard question. And I asked it on purpose to the groups because it is a hard question. So, that being said, let's see if we can help them out. This card, if I were to fill in the whole card, how much would it represent? One whole card. One whole card. So if I asked for 10 tens, how many cards would I need? If the card represents 1, and I ask for tens, how many cards would I need? 10 cards. I would need to have 10 cards in my hand. Do I have 10 cards in my hand?
No.
How many cards do I have in my hand?
1.
I just have 1 card. Is it full?
No.
How much is in there?
10.
Oh, just 1 out of 10. So is this tens or is this tens? This is tens. Now, this is hard to say. It's hard for me to say. It's hard for the kids to say. It's probably hard for plenty of you to say. So let's all say it together. Everybody all together. It is tens. And really emphasize the to the point of being ridiculous. Make sure you say tens so that they can make sure that it's not tens. It is tens. It's hard. That's hard to say. Who here has braces? Good luck. Tens. Maybe do lessons. There you go.
You can't say it.
That's only for 4th grade though, right?
That's only for 4th grade. So if you in 3rd grade are like, okay. Pink card is tens or out of 10 if you are in 3rd grade. Next up is the green card. The green card. All right, so I'm going to call up someone for the green card. Be ready. Be ready. What I'm doing here is I'm giving you think time. Giving you think time to think about what the answer is. Hey, Brianna, help us out here. Is this tense? Whoa, Brianna said it was 100. Brianna, did you count every single square? You did. That was very impressive. I'm impressed you had enough time. So how did you get 100? How did you know this was 100? You multiplied. What did you multiply? One side by the other side. So Brianna went across, and he went down, and how many were across? And how many were down? And 10 times 10 is? 100. Did anyone else find it a different way? No, everyone did the multiply, or you just guessed? Maybe you guessed it was 100. So, if I am in 3rd grade, then I would refer to this as? What would this be?
15 out.
Out of 100 or out of 100 units. But if I am in 4th grade, I would refer to this as hundreds. Hundreds. Because if it was hundreds, what would I need?
100 cards.
I would need 100 cards. I do not have 100 cards, sorry. I have 1 card. So it's hundreds, and not all of it. Okay. So we have our pink cards, which are out of 10 units or tens. We have our green cards, which are out of 100 units or hundreds, because there are 100 little boxes there. And last but not least, we are going to go to the yellow card. Think. And I will call out someone for the answer. And that someone, is Mirza. Mirza. What do you think the yellow card represents?
I think it's thousands.
Okay. You think it's thousands? Did you count every single box? No. So Mirza, do you agree that it's thousands? Yes. You do. Okay. But you didn't count every box. Do you have a shortcut way that you got it?
Well, kind of. Every little thing is like 5 times 20, so it's 100, and then there's 10 of them, so that's 100.
Okay, so she went down the row and there was 5, and then she went across and there was 20. And so each row, each of these thick rows has how many?
100.
100. So if we have 100, count with me. 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900. Did anyone find it a different way?
Yes. We have a miscut one too. We lost a row. This is not miscut though.
Oh yeah, some of them are miscut. Some of them are miscut. So be careful with those. Okay, right there I had a student who I did not call on answer the question. What did I do? I asked Mirza, but Ray answered, so what did I do? I asked Mirza a different question. I let her answer the next one. Okay, so next, let's see. Okay, so we have out of 1,000 units or 1,000. Now, I will tell you that in 3rd grade, they do not deal with thousands. In 4th grade, they do not even deal with thousands. When do they deal with thousands? 5th grade. However, if you know that the blue ones, I'm sorry, not blue. If you know that the pink ones are tens and the green ones are hundreds, what can you assume about the yellows? They're thousands, so they can handle it. It's not that hard for them to figure that out. And they will come up with interesting ways that they get 1,000. So feel free to ask them. It's kind of cool to see what they come up with, how they get 1,000 boxes. All right, so those are the names of the cards. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take all of, oh yes,
So our classes, they're going to go thousands. So because they're walking
oh, perfect. Yeah, just because it may not be in the teaks doesn't mean that some of the classes aren't more advanced and they might be covering this. So absolutely. And again, you'll find some 3rd grade classes where they are very comfortable with this terminology, and you will find some that aren't. So we're teaching to the teaks right now, but realize your classroom might be more or less advanced depending on what the teacher and what the students are comfortable with.
Right, and even if you use the yellow cards and talk about them briefly, you should probably just do it fairly briefly so you can spend more time on the next part coming up. And also because some of the teachers will get very nervous, like, my God, we don't do that, we don't do the thousands. Like they get kind of like, wow. So just realize that's totally great, and we absolutely recommend that you talk about what Ms. Goldberg just talked about, because they can absolutely handle it. Sometimes the teachers are kind of surprised, like, wow, they're doing pretty good. But then just don't go on and on with the thousands.
Yeah, like, just realize if they're not really getting the thousands, it's not the end of the world. They'll get to it anyway. Okay, so now what I want you to do is really briefly talk with your groups about when would I be using decimals? When would I be using tens, hundreds, or thousands? When would I be using for 3rd grade out of 10, out of 100, or out of 1,000? When would I be using parts of a whole in the real world? So come up with an example with your group when you would use this in the real world. Where would I be
Food, how's that?
Because kids, they didn't want pizza, they didn't want pizza.
Okay, so like parts
I'm sorry, they probably won't think of that as going to 4th grade, but who knows, we might have that kid. Okay, what oh, and an experiment, like the scientific experiment, they might have the decimal.
Remember what my teacher told me to shut up because I was still answering.
We have to do 3rd grade out of. Oh, so like 4 out of 5 people, like the bubble gum. This bubble gum play. Excellent, excellent. Like,
While we're doing this,
all right.
we're going to decide who's going to
Ladies
do
and gentlemen, eyes on me.
So you can-
Okay, obviously, when you go into your own classroom, you can give a little bit more time to let the groups talk and talk with them. I have to kind of cut it a little short because we're interjecting so much with the teacher talk that we're running a little low on time. So this time we're going to go with Ray. Ray, what did your group come up with?
Our group came up with the idea of pizza slices and the parts of a pizza being the whole.
Excellent. Parts of a whole with the pizza slices. I have 1 out of 8 slices of pizza. Okay, let's go with this group. What was something you came up with? Money? Does money deal with decimals? Yes, very good. This group over here, what'd you come up with? We also like money. Did anyone come up with something different? What did we come up with in this group?
Like crayons.
Crayons?
Like,
So,
like let's say a kid is missing a crayon, and usually the box is how many crayons there are.
Ah, very nice.
It's 1 out of 24.
brilliant, very good. This group came up with experiments, and experiments might be I'll give you a couple more examples I heard from last semester. Gas station, when you're paying for the price of your gas, they actually go to the little thousands place that you don't even pay attention to. Or, I love this one, radio stations, 88.9 FM. Okay, but those are great examples. But what I want to talk about is money. So here's what I would like you guys to do. Here's what I would like you students to do is the person who is closer to me, you're going to put away all the cards back into your bag except for 2. Now let's listen to which 2. I want 1 green and 1 pink. I do not care which ones. Just make sure 1 is green and 1 is pink. Everything else goes away. The person who is further from me, you are going to grab out the bag of coins. You are going to grab out the bag of coins, leave everything else in the baggie.
And when you do what she just did on the document camera, you can tell them it doesn't have to be this pink card and this green card, because a lot of kids will be like, oh, it needs to be that one, just because you put it up there. So just know that you have to really point out, it doesn't have to be that green or that pink one, but they need 1 green and 1 pink.
Right, yeah, so pick out any pink, any green, it just has to be green and pink, no yellow. All right, now, here's what you're going to do with the coins. You are going to put the value of the coins on the card. So let's go with Diana. Diana, what am I going to do with my coins?
The value of the coins on the card.
Very good. One of you will take the pinks, one of you will take the green, and you got to put the value of the card in the coins on the card. So however much that card is worth, put the coins on top that equal that amount. Okay, so Angela, if you're taking that one, Marco, you take the other one. Ray, you get to do 2. Okay.
So all together,
You put 1 cent per box. You put how much is that per box? Why is it? Not that you're wrong, but saying why is that?
okay, so what if I told you?
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, eyes up here.
Okay, so what again?
Now, obviously, I would give you more time
So that's
to
amazing.
go around, you and your partner, talk to the groups about what they're doing. But, Angelica, could you please give me and tell me which card you use? I don't know which green one. Can you just show me the card? You know what? I'm going to steal your card. I'll steal your money too. And take one.
Is that an educational system?
By the way, some of the baggies that you get in your actual lesson might have some real money mixed in, because we only had so much of the fake money. So that, like, if we stick it, they're like, but it has real money. You're like, yeah, calm down. They just know that.
Okay. So, Andy, kind of walk me through this. How much did you say each box was worth? One. 100. So this is 100 card. So that each one's worth 100. Then how much money would each box be worth? 1 cent. So how many boxes did you say were full? 85. And what do we have here? 85 cents. Let's see. So this is 25. 85. Very nice. So, good job. Now we're going to do a pink card. Now, if I was in 3rd grade, a way that I could extend this, because 3rd grade deals a lot with money, this is a big teach for them, is she did it with 3 quarters and a dime. What can I ask the class to do?
1
What's another way you can come up with 85 cents? So again, your teachers will love you if you teach 3rd grade. If you teach 4th grade, don't bother, you have other things to do. Okay?
Ms. Goldberg, here's a pink card example from one particular group.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
That's what they can catch.
Perfect, yes, this is one that I want. Okay, so let's look at this one. I don't know who this was actually from, but this is a pink card. And how much change do we have? We have 6 cents. And why do we have 6 cents? There are 6 boxes shaded. Did anyone get something different for this card? Arnell, what did you get for this card?
30 cents.
Well, for this particular card, there's 6 boxes. So you wouldn't have done 6 cents. You would have done how much? 60 cents. Is it 6 cents or is it 60 cents? This seems like a tough question. What would I do if this is a tough question? Go back to your groups. Is it 6 cents or is it 60 cents? But we don't have time for that, so we're not going to do it. Okay. So I would let you go back to your groups and you would be debating, is it 6 cents or 60 cents? Why would 6 cents make sense?
Because there's 6 of them.
It's how much the card is worth. So if this is 6 cents, how much is my card worth? 10 cents, but my card isn't worth 10 cents. How much is my card worth? $1. So if it's worth $1, each row is not worth 6 cents. How much is it worth? 10 cents. So now this is how much money? 60 cents. 60 cents. Wait there for a second. That is really hard for some students. That is really hard for some students. Why would that be so hard for some students? Right. So what I'm going to say right now is put all your coins back, because I noticed some of you are playing with the coins, like the students that are paying attention to me. Oh, you're such good modeling 3rd and 4th graders. Okay. Right. So Brianna, can you tell us one more time what you said? Why would this be hard for some students? Right, each shaded thing represents 1 cent instead of 10 cents. That can be very hard for some students. So again, let them go back to the group, let them think it through, let them try it out, and let them think about why each one represents 10 cents versus 1 cent. One way that you can help them see this, I will show you because this is kind of challenging. One way you can help them see this is a line. Show them a green and a pink side by side and say, how much is this worth? 30 cents. How much is this worth? According to this student, it's worth 6 cents, right? So I would say, okay, I want you to look at these 2 cards. Which one am I getting more money? Why should I get more money with the pink? It's more shaded, yet according to you, I'm getting less money with my pink. Why am I getting less money with my pink? What's going on there? It's more shaded, but I'm getting less money. What's happening? Another thing you can do is have them align like this. Think about how many pennies are here versus how many pennies will be here. So if they're really struggling, what am I using? What am I using? Visuals. Visuals, visuals, visuals. This is a hard lesson for some students because it's very abstract. Make it less abstract. Visuals, visuals, visuals.
And those points you just made are really important because you'll notice that at the groups, they won't all agree about how much that pink card is worth. But notice that what she did not do was she did not say up front, okay, before we start, let me tell you that these cards are both worth $1. She purposely didn't tell you that, and you don't want to tell the students that either, because you want them to kind of have that argument or wonder, is it 6 cents or is it 60 cents? Because that's where the good conversations come out, and then they on their own will discover those points that Mrs. Goldberg just talked about. So definitely don't like jump the gun and say, well, it'll be faster if I just tell them the whole card's worth $1, because you want them to have that conversation.
And Mark asked a great question. Mark, say that question again.
What if nobody has that answer?
What if nobody has that answer? Oh, what if I come up here and I pick a pink card and the kid says 60 cents? All right, we're done. So this is where you don't want to randomly select a student. This is where Mr. Sears purposely picked a student who got it wrong. Now, did he say Gabriel got it wrong? No, he did not. But he brought up a card and he said, let's look at this one. So it wasn't that Gabriel got it wrong, it was one that the whole class was debating. It was the class's card. It wasn't his card, it was the class's card. So you want, why on earth, as a teacher, would I ever want to pick a student who gets the answer wrong?
So explain.
Because if I don't pick that student, what happens, Mark?
Then he always gets it wrong.
Well, A, he's always going to get it wrong. What else is going to happen? What was your original question?
What do you mean?
So Mark's question was, what if this never comes up? So if I don't pick a kid who gets it wrong, and then I just take here, correct answer, 60 cents, then what do I deprive the class of? I get to deprive the class of that discussion. And that's where the learning happens. That's the teacher moment where you're like, yes, he picked the wrong answer! So that way you can have this awesome teacher discussion about why is it wrong, and what's the right answer. Picking only the right answers is boring. No learning there. So occasionally, pick the wrong answer. Or occasionally, if you pick a student who has the wrong answer, celebrate that in your head. Not out loud, but in your head. Be like, yes, wrong answer. Because that's where the learning gets to happen. Mark, you had a question?
I know it's not really impossible. It can happen. What if everyone is on the same page and you still want to demonstrate the same, like that quick lesson?
Great question. Everyone's on the same page. Everyone got it right. So what do?
Make your own.
I get to play the idiot. If you are a parent, you get to do this all the time. So, you play the boob. You say, okay, this card, you said it was 60 cents, right? Wait. No. I think it's 6 cents. I think it's 6 cents. What do you think? Is Miss Goldberg right? Why is Miss Goldberg not right? So you play the idiot. You get it wrong.
You can even say, so there was another third grade class, and this is what they thought. What do y'all think about that? Right, that way you can just blame it on like it's fake.
You blame on imaginary
Yeah.
class.
Believe it or not, you can have that like around here. Jose said this. Or call out your partner. You can say, well, when I haven't met with Mr. Elizondo, and he thinks it's 6 cents. So what do you guys think? Who's right? You can blame somebody else. Okay. One more thing I want to talk about with this section, because you're running ridiculously low on time, is which card did I start with? Why did I start with green? That was very purposeful. Why did I start with green? Because it's easier. I mean, it's just that easy. It is easier because each box represents how many points? One penny. That's an easy concept. The pink is harder, so I did the pink second. So my recommendation is do the same in your lesson plan. Write this down if you're taking lesson 2. Start with the green, then do the pink. The green is easier, the pink one's harder. If you have a class that's struggling with math, you may want to have everyone start on a green and then do the pink maybe as a class exam.
And it might seem counterintuitive to think that the green one's easier because there's like less boxes on the pink. But the green one is really easier because they've been trained, they've learned about money, whether you have 3rd grade or 4th grade, they've all learned now about coins and money. They learned that in the fall in 3rd grade, for example. So even though it's out of 100, it's actually easier because that's how they think, that's how they think about money, right? So don't just realize that it might seem easier than for the pink ones, but it's actually easier than the blue ones.
One last thing I want to mention is why did I not pick any yellows?
It takes a lot of time.
What does each box represent? 1,000. So that is 1,000th of a cent. What is 1,000th of a cent? It doesn't exist, right? It's that number at the end of the decimal with the gas that you never pay attention to. This does not exist as coins, so do not pick the yellows. That's very hard. The only way you can figure this out is equivalent. So you can say, okay, this is equivalent to X amount of cents. Now, if you have kids who finish their cards early, they've already put the change on their card. What can you have them do while you're talking to the rest of the class? Come up with another way, or what else can they do if they've already come up with a couple different ways? They have 2 cards, which can you have them do? Well, I'm gonna go straight to thousands, but they have a whole baggie of cards, so what can you have them do? Pick out a different card. If you got a green one the first time, do a pink. If you got a pink one the first time, do a green. If you have that kid who is just blowing through the cards, blowing through the coins, and you still have to talk to some other students, sure, have fun. Do one of those. But I would not say that to any other student. Now, just to make sure that we all understand, how much is this worth? $1. It's not full the whole way. Ooh, how'd you get 95 cents? Each row is worth how much? Each row is worth 10 cents. So if you have that kid who shows up with the yellow card and asks you, how much is this worth? You can, now you know the answer, just in case it happens, but don't go to the else.
What again?
It's not okay. Okay, here's what we're gonna do.
So next week we'll talk about if they have more time for challenge questions next week.
Well, actually, so this is just the Explore. We are literally that far behind. So next week we will have to do the Explain, and then we'll go through the challenge questions, which are the Elaborate. But in the meantime, so the only thing you will be responsible for right now is what on your lesson plan? The Explore, because that's all we got to. Next week you will take care of the Explain and the Engage and the Elaborate since we're behind. If, however, you would like to see the Explore, there's a video of it up on Blackboard, so if you want to peek ahead, you can check it. I'm sorry, the Explain. The Explain is on, and the Elaborates are on there too, so if you want to peek ahead, you can check them out. What I need on your lesson, day 10 is you must tell me who is doing lesson 2 and who is doing lesson 3 out of your group. I need this information because I have to give you the Google Doc today. So if you are doing lesson 2, write down your name. If your partner is doing lesson 2, write down their name, and then do the same for lesson 3. If you are by yourself, just tell me if you're doing lesson 2 or lesson 3. If your partner wasn't here, you get to pick. But I have to know that today so that I can give you the Google Doc. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, this was the what? Just the Explore, and a lot of that was extra. The only thing that you're doing to students is